This is the 272nd episode of CloudFocus Weekly for the third week of September 2017. This episode is titled Winter 18. CloudFocus Week is brought to you by The Permissioner by Arkus. Mass assign and revoke Salesforce permission sets. In Classic and in Lightning, it truly is permission sets made easy. Available for free on the App Exchange or go to thepermissioner.com. I'm your host, Jason Howard, and joining me, co-host for 2 times in a row is Bird. Bird? Oh, if he'd done that on command, that would have been so cool. Gee. It's actually Justin, sorry. Bird's in the background. Bird's back.
Bird's here.
Justin, how are you?
I'm letting you know now. You don't have to discern anything from the tone of my voice. I'm not in a great mood. It's just, that's a fact.
This is hard.
This is it.
Is it because you got home at like 12:30 at night and had like 4 hours of sleep?
And amongst other things.
Okay. Is it going to be part of, should we foreshadow to your neg pick?
No, that'll come later.
All right. Well, I hope it's not because of Winter 18.
I had to fix some of your stuff here. You're on a Winter 17 kick, and you've got to get it through your brain that winter is the next year.
Yeah, what have I been posting?
Everywhere.
Really?
Like, even the name of this was Winter 17.
Was it?
I changed it.
Oh, okay.
In your little lead up that you write, Winter 17.
Well,
I was gonna let you
realize
gonna let you do it wrong and then correct you, but I didn't.
Putting the date as 2017, and then I'm putting another date that's another year, so like it messes with my head.
Winter's always been a tough one to wrap your head around. I know.
It totally is, and it's not winter, but whatever. I always feel like fall's my favorite season. Winter's already come.
Here,
winter's here, actually. But fall's my favorite season. Like, of all the seasons, fall's my favorite.
It's also disappearing.
Well, certainly now, because I just went for a run, and I'm sitting here just sweating in the middle of September.
Yeah, it smells awesome.
You can't smell me from over there. This studio has nice spatial whatever. You're far enough away
We're
from
behind glass? Where's our producer, Bird, behind the glass?
Bird! He's next to the glass.
Why? It's
Watch
a she.
Bird.
Bird's a she.
Yeah, it's true.
With a he name.
Bird. Funny that like you're so loud last time, but now you don't want to say anything.
Maybe we'll provoke Bird into saying something later.
Bird's doing good with Bird's cuddle bone. All right, so it's so today is all about Winter 18, which is the Salesforce release that is happening in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
October.
Like actually about a month from now.
Yeah. So the blog has started blogging about Winter 18.
How about that?
I read through the entire release notes. I always read the release notes. Sometimes I read them more thoroughly than others. This time I actually went through every single page. I was on a plane. Perfect place to read the release notes. Had my laptop open and just scroll. I also like it when it's in an org that I can go in if I see something really cool and go, ooh, let me go play with that. So I kind of like to read it after it's hit the sandboxes, because then you can, sometimes, although Report Builder I couldn't, but I like to go in and see it and just like play with something immediately, just like, ooh, that's really cool.
Gotta have your pre-release org so that you can just have it.
I guess, but then I just wait for my sandbox. So we've written 2 blog posts about it. Why don't we just start with those 2, and then we'll talk about other things that we haven't mentioned. One is the first one. Actually, we're going in reverse. The first one is by Ryan Owens, and it's titled "Winter 18. Let's Talk Lightning." So this is Ryan's absolute 477th blog post.
He likes writing about lightning.
Lightning. Well, at least he's got a long way to go. I think he also is just like, well, that's just his thing. I'm just going to write about lightning.
Why not? It's easy.
Lightning and what's new in lightning. What's new in lightning ideas? Lightning that's lightning. He did use a picture of the wall from Game of Thrones.
There you go.
Yes. So he picks out a few things. I guess we could just pick a few of these.
Sure.
And go through. So let's pick one each. Again, this is on blog.arkusinc.com.
Sure.
So why don't you pick one and I'll pick one, and I mean I feel like one of them is like huge. And
one's a big deal. I'm not going to touch that one. I'm going to go with the last one that he put in his list, because I often spend a lot of time in setup. as a consultant and administrator and all those other things, I spend a lot of time in the app, and when I'm there, I'm in setup, and I want to find things quicker. And anytime you can make setup better for me, I'm a happy person. And basically now you can find things in setup faster with the enhanced quick find. The example he gives is you can just type in a field and you can find it.
That's pretty
as
good.
As opposed to like the object or something. It would appear you can search for almost anything and find it in setup, which is really good.
I will say once Winter 18 releases, I definitely will attack it with some ideas, because the object manager, one of the things I've noticed about it, is the object manager is under its own tab, and there's a drop down that shows recent objects. Super cool.
Doesn't really work.
But doesn't show recent standard objects, which is absolutely useless. I mean, are we sitting here at the podcasting station, having gone to the same concert last night, now sitting here drinking the same sparkling water that we bought last night? It's just getting a little wrong. We need intervention.
It's really good, though. It's white peach ginger from Poland Spring. It's excellent.
It is excellent.
It's good flavor.
All right.
Kudos.
So yeah, so I don't know if that's fixed, because that's definitely that's on the buggish level. I always find that the setup. Do you know if users? Does it say? I don't know if I already read. Is users now searchable in Quick Find?
You know,
because that's like the thing I do the most. I need to get to a user.
Right, and you don't want to look for
it. I can search for it on the top find.
Right. Then you got to go.
Then I go to the user profile. Then click on the go into the user thing. Like I really want, like as an admin, you really. You want to be able to go into a user, and especially if you're doing heavy testing, logging in and out of the user, like you want to be able to get back to that user very, very quickly. I wish the users were searchable in that quick find as well, and fast. But that's cool. I guess I'll just pick the one that's like massive, because I think we should talk about it, is the new look and feel.
So, I thought you were going to talk about the lead conversion thing.
Yeah, lead conversion is cool. They actually fixed some things, because lead conversion had some missing pieces in it in the old Lightning lead conversion. But the look and feel, I think,
also added new things like select record types, respect duplicate rules, things of that nature.
It's better. Did you?
There's Bird. Thanks, Bird. Bird's all about lead conversion.
Lead conversion is Bird's favorite. The Lightning look and feel is ever changing, like a metamorphosis of a flower. I don't know. We were having a side conversation the other day. I feel very bad for everybody who has gone out and done tons and tons of screenshots or video captures of processes in Lightning, and then they did it the first time with the side nav. Oh, that's gone. Now then they did it again with the top nav. And now we're going to get a new look and feel. So there's, I guess it's really, there's two big complaints in Lightning. One is the use of white space. There's just too much of it all over it, and it's kind of wasteful. And so people are like, tighten up the white space, like make it easier to see more data. I don't need to see white space. I'm not drawing, right, Bird? Yeah, exactly. And then I guess, and sort of the opposite of that is when you tighten up white space, the things get too close together. So now they've created this background color. It's actually an image in the background that's like dark, and that breaks out all the components. So the side component, the highlight bar, the path, if you think about Lightning, all broken out by this dark color in the background, which is kind of it is trailheady.
It's also a little bit wasteful also, because you've got every component is wrapped with this is like snapped into this background.
Right.
So while I don't know if they've tightened it up that much to replace it, it's basically a replacement for the white spaces. We're going to show you that there are different areas on this page.
It looks better, I will say.
It does.
And you
better.
Can turn it off. You can turn off the background image. So I went into our org, I immediately turned it off, and then I went back and I said, you know what, I'm going to leave it on, because that's what most orgs are going to be like, and I don't want us to have a different look and feel and then go into someone else's org and not see it. So I left it on, and it's better. And surprisingly, and this I think is very important, this is much faster too. It's another round of faster. I would say another 10 to 20% faster.
I love faster.
It is. It actually feels like you don't notice it as much. And I'm working in Lightning a lot now, and flipping over to Winter 18, wow, okay, it's faster. I would say I'm going to give it the Jason seal approval. It's GA.
Use Lightning now?
No, it's GA. Like, they can announce it as actually
go
live.
live.
It's not a pilot.
It's 2 years in. We're good.
Yeah. So like they shouldn't have done 2 years ago. It's actually GA now. It's good enough to launch people on. It's fast enough. It has enough features. There's still missing stuff all over the place, but a lot of it's just little tiny things.
Good segue though.
Yeah. Let's go to your blog post.
My blog post. So
Justin Edelstein.
Edelstein.
And your new picture. Oh, look at your
New picture, yeah.
So you wrote something.
Yeah, I've been talking about this for a while.
How do you
with
write
people.
if you can't read?
I do my best.
Okay. I'm just saying.
I've been talking about this for a while with people internally and externally, that there were these gaps when, as you just discussed, when Lightning was launched, and it was like, go use Lightning. It's like, yeah, but it doesn't do half the things.
Half the things are missing.
And I've been talking about, well, they shouldn't just replicate things. They should think about them differently and make them better. Because we know that it's missing a whole slew of features. Let's not just make it work how it used to work. Let's make it better if applicable, right? If the thing used to work great, let's keep having it work great. But if there's room for improvement, like lead conversion and adding record type to lead conversion, that's great, because that was always a workaround. You'd have to have a pick list on the lead and write a workflow rule or something to have it flip record types on conversion. So I picked a bunch of features that I thought were made better in Lightning experience as opposed to just rolled out the way that they always were to fill the need, because, there's a gap here. We used to have this, and now, all right, well, we'll just roll it out, and it's got a Lightning skin on it. It's actually a better feature now.
Great.
So I listed out a few.
Why don't you pick one, and I'll pick one.
Sure. So
the rest of people can read where?
blog.arkusinc.com.
Very good.
So I'll just go with the first one, the expand your reps email reach with list email. So mass email is a thing.
What?
In Classic, yeah, you can actually send an email to a mass amount of people.
It's very hidden.
It's hidden in the tools menu, and it's a bit clunky, and there's a lot of steps to it that you have to do beforehand, with creation of email templates and list views to the people that you want to actually send the email to, and it has limits, and so does this. It continues to have limits on how many you can send at one time. But the idea is that now it's going to be much easier to just grab a list of contacts, leads, or person accounts, which are not being left behind, and say, okay, I have a list that meet this criteria. Let me just select them and send them an email. And the email gets tracked as part of the activity history, which was always an issue because it would just say like mass email.
Right. And the best piece, I think you're bearing the lead.
What am I bearing?
You can build the email.
Oh yeah, you
on
just
the
do
fly.
it on the fly. You don't have to like go through 100 hoops to then come back.
That
was always frustrating.
Right, because
it's like, oh, I'm doing this mass email. I forgot to build my template.
It's build template, then go do list. That's not the way people think. People are like, build list. Oh, I've thought about that. Now I'm going to send you. I can't wait to use it. This is something I actually haven't tried in one of the orgs, but that's a very, very cool feature. I wonder, as part of that, if they're going to... I think maybe I'll put an idea exchange on this. I think they should up the limits on the emails. Like, it's been 10 years.
There's a reason why they would not do that.
I'm not saying to up them to millions, but like from 1,000 to maybe 2,000 or 5,000 to 10,000. Like, make it... Yeah, I get it. They want to sell their own software, but they have the capacity to do more. And while it used to cost X to send an email, it now costs 1/100th of X to send an email.
Would that be Y?
Why? Why what?
No, X like Y.
It'd be Y.
Or Z.
Generation Z.
Okay, what's your thing here
I will
that
pick,
I did?
my thing is, I mean, I think this is a massive feature, so I'm just going to pick it. There's a couple things I think are great, but the dynamic lightning pages, which we were discussing again the other day, why don't we just record all of our conversations? Just
That'd be creepy.
Well, we'd have to filter out a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
We could have the "This is not appropriate" podcast.
Yeah, our partner who shall remain nameless, please don't listen to this one.
Oh, yeah. Stuff you shouldn't say to your wife podcast.
Oh, bad things.
That's a bad one.
So many things that we shouldn't do.
TV shows that you should never talk about. All right. So the dynamic lightning pages is a very cool feature, although I'm still trying to figure out amazing use cases, but I have played with it. You can go into a lightning page, you can go into the lightning page editor, and then you can say this component over here only shows up when we hit this basically criteria of the record itself. So if account type equals prospect, show this component. If account type equals blah, customer, show this component. So super cool, like super, super cool. But I feel like what people want more than just componentize, so I could see it for charts and things displaying, but what I really wanted is sort of either related lists, like don't show this, because we could do that today in page layouts, but basically don't show this related list if it's a prospect, because it's useless. Or sections on a page. That's where I'd really like it.
The sections on the page is what everyone wants, and I feel like that's where it's got to go. It's got to go to like, all right, enough with the page layout stuff. Let's just make it all like a page. Why can't a page layout just be a component? Like as a very quick, boom. Don't change anything. It's just a component, and then if you want to, go for it.
We're about to enter we're about to enter into a very strange time as a Salesforce configurator or admin or whatever, because you can build some really, really bad, confusing crap nowadays.
Yes.
Whereas before, the worst thing you could do was sort of like there are a lot of fields in one big section all on the right-hand side. Like, that'd probably be the worst thing you could do.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't do
like
too much.
A billion related lists.
Right, or maybe just make really terrible validation rules that, like, validate off of things that don't make sense, or recursive validations. But now, as a UI designer, you can build a lot of stuff that can confuse the crap out of users and not be very usable. So it's going to be an interesting time. I wish Salesforce would come out with some research about the best way to do things and where some types of components must sit. I spent a lot of time actually thinking about this in our own org. When you land on a lead, like we talk about, well, do you want to see the feed first, or do you want to see activity, or should activity always be in the same place? I mean, one part of UI is building good UI generally within an application is you want things to be consistent. So if the button is, the upper right-hand corner, then it should always be in the upper right-hand corner, because people memorize things spatially. They don't memorize it they don't say, oh, I know it's upper right-hand. They memorize spatially. So if you were to build an org and every different page, lightning page you landed on, a lead, a contact, opportunity, account, case, just pick the standards, you could literally have each one could be completely different, look different, feel different, have things that didn't exist on others. One doesn't have a detail, one has activity, one has feed first, one doesn't have a highlight panel. I think it could be really bad. So I would love for Salesforce to do some research and come out and say, hey, here's what we think as a best practice. Here's some consistency in UI that we think you should stick to.
Wouldn't you think that they've already done that, and whatever the out of the box, like when you spin up a brand new org, that's it?
No.
Like, these are the tabs.
No.
These are the sub tabs. This is where activity goes. This is where the feed goes. This is where this goes.
It's a lot of backward compatible stuff.
No, but a net new org, brand new.
Still got to be backward compatible to Classic. If Classic were to go away tomorrow, like if Classic were gone, and someone said build an org that's Lightning only, right? I think it would be built very different than if you came from Classic. We've discussed this offline as part of our What We Discuss Offline podcast, which will then be online. Whatever, that won't work. There's two things to Lightning. Yes, you can sort of make it better, but are you making it so dramatic change in the UI that the users are going to get lost, right? You want to leave them a path. So we've talked about maybe making it feel like you're coming from Classic a little bit more to start. And then maybe you change it later. But anyway, so that's my tip. So those are 2 blog posts on blog.arkusinc.com. And now we can talk about other things. I think the first thing we should talk, so I guess we both picked some things we like or new things to talk about. Well, first we have to talk about the graveyard. In the graveyard with the presentation builder, with request update. I can't do it either. Bird's gonna start singing. So 2 features got crap canned this time. This is a non-explicit podcast because my daughter listens. First one is Chatter Answers. I feel like Chatter Answers is pretty young in the world. Like,
yeah, it's been about 8 years, I think.
8?
Yeah.
For Chatter Answers?
8 or 9, yeah.
I think that's longer than I would have said.
No, I think I'm right, though.
8 or 9 years for Chatter Answers?
I do believe.
Oh, not even old enough to drink or to drive. So that's actually retiring in spring 18. And then Cloud Scheduler is actually retired. Maybe we shouldn't say dead. Maybe we shouldn't say in Boca. Although, it's more dead than it is. They got Boca'd. So Cloud Scheduler, which was the feature for you people starting up your brand new org today, your Winter 18 org today, allowed you to send out a meeting request, kind of like what actually. Does Inbox have this? Inbox has this.
Inbox has
and
this.
Cirrus has this.
Cirrus
where I can say,
this.
Here's my calendar. Here's a link to some possible spots. You tell me what you like. This feature never did the one that those do, which I think when they pick it, it then turns it into a meeting request. This one always just left it as a, hey, everybody said this. Now you have to go back and pick and make it a meeting request and then send it out.
Yeah.
And plus, it always got it got.
They're
hurt.
still not perfect either.
No,
like the new like the whole Cirrus thing. Like when you send out, here's 5, right? It doesn't block those 5. It doesn't like throw blocks onto your calendar to say like, all right, those 5 are taken until which time it's all done, and then we'll remove the 4 blocks.
So like if you sent out one set to one person and one set to the other and they overlap.
They could overlap, and you could have 2 things at the same time.
Right. So that's
it's not perfect.
Yeah. But that seems like a small code update. Like,
yeah,
it seems like a feature.
I don't
Turn on
know
blocking.
if maybe they both fall on that, but I know that I've had that issue.
I think the real reason Cloud Scheduler died, and when they put it out, they immediately realized that their email, their scheduling app, the ability to send out schedules and get them replied to and all that was just terrible. And I think they just said, we're not going to get into this space. And so then never really
they have now.
But they're doing it by syncing. So instead of, right, because they're doing through syncing with with Gmail and Outlook.
Yeah, I mean, you can send out, they've essentially said, okay, you can send out the requests for the meetings, but you can do it from inside of Salesforce, but the actual meeting request is going out via either your Gmail or your, I guess it's more 365 than anything.
Yeah.
So
So they're leveraging their ability to send out the meeting request.
That's right.
Therefore, they don't have to worry about the responses and all that.
It's all handled, which is the right way to do it.
It
It's
is the
on
right
the
way to do
server
it.
side.
Right. And they have the tool in Inbox to do the block the here's the thing. So this is the right thing to do. I'm not faulting for this. I just think they if they'd done that 5 years ago, done the or 8 however long,
Maybe wasn't able to. You know?
Maybe. So those two are dead. All right, let's pick one each. We both have two. You can pick one. I can pick one.
Of our favesies?
Yeah, well, I actually just mentioned one of mine, so that's it. I can just pick the other one. I am kind of excited for a little small feature called Add Opportunity Team Members Faster. We here at Arkus actually use Opportunity Team Members, also sometimes called Sales Team Members, Sales Team. And you can add them faster. So it's just much easier to sort of put them into this grid. It's much better and better in Lightning. Two quick things on Lightning I found that I'm a little perplexed on. And maybe this is just me. Maybe I didn't enable something. Go to add a contact to an org. So you go, I'm on a case, creating a new case. Great. And one of the great things about Lightning is you can then pop up and add a new thing. So you could pop a new thing. So I then popped to add a new contact. Go to add new contact, look at account, can't add account.
Right. So it doesn't have the ability to go 2 levels.
Right.
And if you don't add the account, no one will ever see it.
Right. And it just happened to be required in this org. So I was like, I just got trapped. That stinks. The second one is subscribe in Classic, and subscribe, the same word, means 2 different things.
Oh, that's fun.
Subscribe in Classic for a report, you have schedule and subscribe.
Yeah.
Schedule is send this thing to me at every given period of time, every Monday at 6 a.m. Do it. Send it to a bunch of people. Subscribe means in Classic, if this report gets a certain value of more than 10 widgets, of invoices paid more than 3, whatever, then send it to me. But if it doesn't, don't send it to me. One is kind of pull and one is push, whatever. In Lightning, subscribe is the schedule one, not the subscribe one. Yeah.
Why is that?
Don't know.
That's strange. That's maybe just an error.
An error in naming?
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
They're 2 different things.
I get
subscribing's the better one, in my opinion.
I think what they're going to do is they're going to probably merge it into one, that you can do both in one. But right now in Lightning,
that's weird. They are 2 different things, though.
But I'm looking at it.
I'm not.
Yeah, no,
like
I'm just testing
wrong.
Just to make sure.
It's just very weird.
There's a button in Lightning on a report called subscribe. You click on it, and it says schedule, frequency, days, time, email results.
That just seems
and
like
then
it's
I flip
wrong.
over to Lightning or to Classic,
Which one are you clicking over to?
I'm going to Classic
All right.
now.
Well, you go on your little.
Those are weird, though, right?
Yeah,
that's weird.
It should be one or the other. It should not be both.
You click the
they
subscribe
are 2 different
button,
things.
and it's completely different.
Yeah, they're 2 different things. Let's keep them 2 different things, or figure out which one you want to do.
Don't
and support
rename
it,
a thing like. In Classic, clone means to clone, and in Lightning, clone means to delete.
All right. These were supposed to be like your favorite things, and then you.
Well, I didn't know. I picked a favorite, but then I'm just pointing out 2 really weird Lightning issues.
Okay.
Maybe a whole podcast on that.
Cool. So I'm gonna pick. So the calendars are now shareable.
That seems like a catch-up feature.
Yeah. The
Brain working.
Brain is so not working. Oh my lord. No, the
I don't think he's gonna help.
Building out those calendars are really cool, but they were like private, so you'd want to be able to share them with a public group,
right,
or one other user or whatever, and not having them is sort of strange. And now they're there, and you can build out however many you want and share them with whoever you want to share them with. So if there's an event calendar, you can build out an event calendar and share them with the marketing team that runs events or something for an organization. So that's a nice bonus coming in the next release.
All right, I'll throw in...
I have another one too. If
no, because we're running out of time.
All right.
I will throw in they threw into the release notes, before you get to your neg pick, I'll pick out my neg thing. They put user profiles, get a trailhead makeover, ask your default avatar in more places. They put that as features. It's like, hey, isn't this cool? Like, no, it's not cool. Even that someone had to write them up and spend the money to write them up is reason enough they shouldn't have done them.
You will never get over that.
Nope. I will not. So, let's go ahead. Speaking of things, next week, before we get to our CloudFocus App Pick of the Week, you had a little adventure last week.
I did.
You're still recovering from it.
I'm totally still recovering.
So I'm going to let you have another week, and then we'll talk about it next week.
Sounds
you
like a plan.
You went overseas and did some Salesforce stuff.
Did.
So I want to hear about it.
It's true.
Are you going to write a blog about it?
Just thinking about it.
You should.
Yeah.
As the blog master, I think you should.
No such thing.
Well, as your former boss, I think you should.
Not a thing. Hey,
Wait,
I wrote a blog.
Boss is a thing.
Wrote a blog post that was published for this week and never got any sort of notification that it was actually published.
Yeah, that was a mistake of mine. I published it early because Ryan had linked to it, and I was like, oh, he linked to it, so you can't get to it. So I said, let me just publish it early, and then I forgot to email you back with my text expander.
It's done now.
Yes.
All right. Please don't contact me about it. It's out there. Go to blog.arkusync.com. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's there.
All right. So
let's do a neg pick.
Yeah. So this morning I'm having some trouble getting Capital One 360.
What is that?
It's their online platform where it takes all your accounts and puts it into one place for you. And I have accounts at Capital One, and okay. I need to establish another connection, I guess, between this new account that I have.
Okay.
And for some reason, it just doesn't work. They were like, try to use a different browser. And I'm like, I'm using Safari. Like, it should just work.
Right.
Like, I'm not using some crazy browser. I'm not like it's a normal
Opera.
Not using Opera. I'm not using IE10. Like, I'm using a normal browser. All right, fine. I will try a different one. I try a different one. Nope. Still can't get these things to just work. And the tech just wasn't working. And I tried one person. They were such a failure that I hung up because I was on the phone for too long, like 20 minutes, way too long. So I'm like, done with you. Tried a different one later. Same problem. Just can't get past this part where this thing will work. So I think Capital One has excellent tech stuff. I know that everything that I've ever done with them online has been really good. It's just they've failed on this one. So like I have to pay this this bill, thank you. And I don't even know how to pay it. Like I actually don't, like the thing that I'm going to fall back on is I'm going to write a check.
Nice.
And put it in the mail.
What?
Because that's the way it should work.
Why don't you just go into Chase and schedule the payment?
I don't know what they need from me to make the payment.
Okay. That's terrible. So CapitalOne360.com.
It's like not working very well.
Don't use it.
There's no other way around it. So I've just got to figure out how to get it to work somehow for me.
So it's not a pick.
It's a bad thing.
Don't use it.
Well,
wait,
at some point I'll have to use it.
Are you saying don't use it or use it?
I'm
'Cause it's
saying
either
that
pick or not pick.
that their support thus far has been pretty bad.
Okay, this might be the worst pick you've ever made.
I know it's a negative pick.
But are you saying don't use it?
I have to use it.
No,
I have to
but
figure it out.
Do you understand what a pick is? A pick is when you say,
There's nothing
hey,
I can do about
everybody
it.
listens
There's
to the
nothing I
podcast.
can do about it. I
not
cannot.
You, not you.
No.
Listeners. You say, hey, listeners of the CloudFocus Weekly podcast.
I'm
care. Making a pick for you to use something.
I don't care. I'm done.
Is this yet another podcast we end with Justin not speaking. Yay.
I'm so done.
Okay. I am picking a feature / product because I think everybody should know about this because I think it's kind of this hidden thing. So I'm making it a feature / product. Apple in iOS 11 has now very hiddenly, which is kind of cool, but not really, they've released that the data plans, if you buy iCloud storage, is now shareable amongst the family.
Ooh, that's good.
Yes. So this is actually a in the Atwood household. This is a cost savings for me because I have 3 people in our household that all use their devices tremendously and all have purchased individually their own storage.
Same.
So I have now, well, I actually started this morning. I have to consolidate tonight. I have purchased the 2 terabyte of iCloud storage, which
I actually have that already.
which is $9.99 a month. So, and now I get to move everybody onto it, and we can share it.
I have to do that.
Yes.
I have the same plan, but we don't have the same.
Right. So now you go in. You can go in on your phone once you update it. You click on, I'm just telling you, you go into iCloud settings on your iPhone, storage plan. It says, share with family. You say yes, and then you can even send them a link the first time. Not ever again, but the first time you say share it to them, and it'll send them something, tell them how to do it. I will not have to do that. I will have to go to people's devices. But this allows them, then if they have iPhotos, which, every independent person, and if they have all that stuff, they can all sync up into and use my one plan to sync it. It's not sharing the data, so it's not like I can see their stuff, but they're sharing one plan. And for 2 terabytes a month, $10 a month, $120 a year for 3 people, it's not like at Dropbox level, but since it is a lot of space, you could actually then say, hey, you don't have to use Dropbox. You could use, because in iOS 11 as well, they have Files, which is basically a Dropbox and Google Drive competitor. So now with shared plans, it kind of makes sense. All right, so that's my pick. All right, well, next week we'll hear about Justin's travels to and fro Spain, and then we'll come back and discuss other things. I don't know what else we're going to discuss next week. I'm sure something will happen.
Something will pop up.
Maybe we'll make up something. All right, follow us on Twitter at Just Edelstein, at Jason Amowit, at Arkus Inc., Facebook.com/Arkus Inc. Follow us in the Success Community and Power of Us group hubs, on the LinkedIn, in the Google+. Subscribe to us and review us, the podcast, please. iTunes, Stitcher, Google, tune in. Justin Jason saying, until next week, enjoy those cloudy